I'm live, everybody. Let me get this propped up. Hold on one second. All right, we're good now. Had to get my betting odds with me. I checked out the betting odds for this fight. Gary Russell Jr. returns against King Tut Nyambar, and I'm probably butchering his last name, but King Tut, I like him as a fighter. Good fighter, fun fighter to watch. I don't think he's going to be able to get off in this fight, though. But this is Gary Russell Jr.'s annual fight. Gary Russell Jr. is kind of like Groundhog Day. You know, it's like he comes along once a year. Only a small, certain amount of people really care about it. And if we see his shadow, then we'll have 6 more weeks of winter. But Gary Russell Jr. 30-1, 18 KOs. This fight is being taken place in Allentown, and this is what I don't understand about the whole Gary Russell Jr. career thing is they always put him somewhere where it's like, I guess it's the highest site fee they can get, but it's somewhere where you're not going to attract a big audience to come, and he fights once a year, and he seems pretty comfortable fighting once a year and just doing this. I don't get it, because I mean it's not like he's a boring fighter, man. I like the hand speed. I like the boxing that he does. It's just he cannot get his career going. He doesn't seem really interested in doing it. He just seems comfortable fighting once a year and doing it this way. I don't know. I guess legacy doesn't really matter, and he's just going to do it that way. It's just kind of baffling to me. But Gary Russell Jr., the thing about this fight is King Tut is going to have to get off early in this fight. And even if he does that, Gary Russell Jr. has a way of adapting to what you're doing. Just look at the Jojo Diaz fight where he had his moments earlier and then Gary Russell Jr. adapted. And that's typically what boxers do. King Tut has physical advantages in this fight. He has a length advantage. He has a sort of a weight advantage. Bigger guy, 5'8", 66-inch reach. Gary Russell Jr. 5'4.5", 64-inch reach. So he has a taller, bigger pressure fighters are tougher to deal with, man. They just are. So King Tut, I give him sort of a chance in that if he can get off early, try to take advantage of some sort of ring rust for Gary Russell Jr. only fighting once a year. But the thing about it is King Tut hasn't fought in 13 months. And he hasn't been very active since 2017. So Gary Russell Jr., guy who's used to fighting once a year, right? I mean, it's not like ring rust is going to be a problem for Gary Russell Jr. He's used to fighting once a year. This isn't anything new to him. So betting odds. Let's get the betting odds because I'm pretty confident Gary Russell Jr. wins this fight unanimous decision. That's how I see this fight playing out. I think he'll be able to deal with it. I think he'll be able to deal with whatever King Tut brings to the table early in the fight. If there's a shock early in the fight, I think he'll be able to adapt like he did in the Diaz fight. And King Tut's a decent fighter, man. Decent fighter, 11-0, hasn't lost yet, but still pretty green. Still pretty green and hasn't been active. So the thing about the betting odds, though, is you look for value. And there's no value in betting Gary Russell Jr. here because he is a minus 448. So you got to put $448 down on the guy just to win 100. All right, so King Tut, however, there is some value there because he's plus 321. So you put down 100, you win 321. If you can put, if you think King Tut has a chance here, put $20 down on him. See what can happen. I mean, you can win. $20 will get you what, 60, $70 here. So put some money down on King Tut 321. But I see more value in the over under here because the over under is 11.5. So basically, Vegas is saying they think this is going the distance. Vegas has the over-under set at 11.5, and the over is minus 500. So they think this thing is going over. They don't think it has much of a chance of going under 11.5. They think pretty much that Gary Russell Jr. is going to win this thing going away on the scorecards. I think there's value in the under here because let's say King Tut Jr. or King Tut lands something big. And hurts Gary Russell Jr. Or let's say there's a cut or something like that and you have to stop the fight. Plus 351 on the under, although I think it's going to decision, there's more value in that. So I would tend to say And I'm going to put a little money down, like 20, 25 bucks. Nothing major, something that you can afford to lose. 20, 25 bucks on the under here, just to see if there's a freak stoppage, and just to see if you can hit 70 bucks on 20, 25 dollar bet. So I think the most value here I see is the under. However, I do think this is going to decision. I do think Gary Russell Jr. Will win this thing. It's sort of like a 8-4 sort of thing, 116, 112. Just because I do think that King Tut will have his moments early in the fight. But once Gary Russell Jr. adapts, I think he'll sweep those later rounds. So let's see. I just hope that King Tut makes this a fight, though. I would love to see this be a brawl, turn into a brawl to where Gary Russell Jr. is forced to fight. Because we barely see that, right? We barely see Gary Russell Jr. Forced into that type of fight. I hope he is, and I hope we get a fun fight in the later rounds. And we'll see, man. How and where can I bet money? I bet on JustBet, justbet.co. I've been betting on there for about 5, 6, actually probably longer than that, probably about 10 years. So the thing about a lot of these apps, though, is they're illegal, technically. So they take Bitcoin and stuff like that. So I would try justbet.co. There's a lot of them, though, man. There's a ton of them out there. Sportsbook.com is out there as well. So just try your luck out there. See if you can get an app until they legalize it in 50 states. Hopefully they start legalizing in more states and you can place bets legally. In 2020, I don't see how we're not at that point yet. But I like Gary Russell Jr. by decision in this one, 116, 112-ish. And I like the under an 11.5 as far as value bet, though. So put a little money down on there, see what you can get. You may end up losing it. So bet money that you can afford to lose. But you hit it, it's good value, plus 351. So I'm out, man. Peace.